Hi, my name is Chris Shoemaker, and this is my presentation for EDS 709, titled Teachers' Perceptions of Student Behavior. Hope you enjoy. I want to start off with a quote from O'Brennan in 2014 where he says, "Pro-social behavior and teacher perceptions of school climate are significantly related to how students behave." I think this is true in a couple of ways. One, we're all social creatures, and our behavior is oftentimes impacted by the actions of others. Also, how we perceive schools and school climate is often impacted by the behavior within the building. Good behavior, good climate. Bad behavior, maybe not so good of a climate. And so I think this quote really stands out in the area of teacher perceptions on student behavior. Brief introduction to my presentation. Again, the title of my research was Teachers' Perceptions of Student Behavior During the School Day. I attempted to answer 4 research questions. 1, does student behavior impact teachers' perceptions of student behavior? 2, does where the behavior occur impact these perceptions? 3, does the type of behavior that is occurring impact perceptions of teachers? And 4, does when the student behavior occur impact teachers' perceptions of student behavior? A little bit of background. This idea was born from my time as a middle school administrator where we had an A-B week schedule. On A weeks, periods 1 through 7 met in that order, and on B weeks, we flipped it to where periods 7 through 1 met in that order. We did this as a trial and error, as an experiment to see if there was any correlation to when students were misbehaving during the day, with any connection to the type of behavior or the location of behavior. And so it was basically a trial and error experiment, which gave me the idea to do this research. Also, thinking about historical discipline data, my time as an administrator has shown me that there are peak times throughout the day where student misbehavior is the highest, whether it's around lunch or transitions or times of less supervision, prior to dismissal, that sort of thing. All experiences worth noting as part of my research. Brief outline of my presentation. I'll go over the 2 instruments that I used in my research. I'll talk a little bit about the findings and results, conclusions and recommendations, along with limitations and directions for future research. Just want to highlight the fact that sample size is a huge part of both of those final 2 categories, and I'll touch on those in the upcoming slides. I used 2 instruments during my research. I used a behavioral impact survey, which consisted of 20 questions. I invited 38 teachers here at New Hope Elementary to participate. I had 14 respondents to the survey, and the survey was created using a Likert scale with 5 being strongly agree and 1 being strongly disagree. I also administered a teacher perception questionnaire that consisted of 19 questions. The same 38 people were invited, and 7 people responded to the questionnaire. All of the teachers' responses were short answer in nature. The findings and results, just to briefly kind of go over this for a second. The survey data I felt yielded 5 categories. These are include safety, school and home, peers and tasks, location and perception. The questionnaire responses I think yielded 10 major categories: scheduling, transitions, lunch, behaviors and support, discipline and rewards, along with relationships, academics, and class compositions. All provided valuable information to my research. As far as historical discipline data goes, I use iNow discipline entries for the 1920 and 2021 school years. However, I think this was impacted and skewed due to COVID-19. As you know, the 2019-20 school year was impacted from March to May as schools were shut down due to the pandemic, and so that discipline data is not reflected accurately or at all. And then the 2021 school year has been a combination, for us at least, of traditional learning, hybrid learning, and remote learning. So again, the iNow discipline data may not be a true reflection of a typical school year as far as how it relates to this research topic. Conclusions and recommendations. I highlighted sample size and instrumentation as 2 major conclusions. Going forward, I would recommend increasing the sample size. This includes increasing the types of schools that are involved. I would use elementary, middle, and high school, whereas I just use an elementary school. I would also increase the types of educators that are invited to participate, to include administrators, teachers, reading coaches, aides, paraprofessionals, etc. I would also do more to I would recommend increasing the diversity in doing this research. Predominantly, the staff here at New Hope Elementary are white female, and those were all of the respondents to my survey and questionnaire. So going forward, I would recommend males and different races to increase the diversity for the research. As far as instrumentation goes, I would improve my statements. I do feel like some of the survey statements could be could lead astray and lead to information that's not really relevant. So I do more of a laser focus on the topic, which in this case would be teacher perceptions of student behavior. I would also improve the questions for the questionnaire. Dr. Campbell actually recommended checking on a test bank or item bank to see if there's any pre-created or pre-selected questions from previous research. So I would do more diligence in looking for that if, to give this questionnaire again to improve the questioning. Two limitations that I discovered, again, the sample size, the small size, and the limited scope of the participants, I think greatly impacted the reliability, validity, and generalizability of this research. And as far as future research goes, I would improve the participation requirements, maybe look at incentives or rewards or some sort of motivation to increase that number. And also, if you increase the sample size, hopefully the participants would increase as well. So that is all that I have for my research on teacher perceptions of student behavior during the school day. I do think that their perceptions are impacted by the behavior, whether it's the type or the location or the timing, and I hope this presentation sheds some more light on that. I want to close with a quote by Salopis in 2010, and he says that teacher perceptions of student misbehavior has effect on turnover attentions. I think this is true. If the perception of misbehavior in a building is positive, I think teachers will want to be there. And I think if there is a negative perception, that it's easier for teachers to maybe look elsewhere. And so I think that our perceptions of student behavior does go a long way on school climate and does go a long way on teacher retention, teacher turnover, that sort of thing. Hope you enjoy my presentation. I've enjoyed the course very much, and thank you for your time.